Hi, my name's Sean. Welcome to GuitarReferenceGuide.com. Today we're going to learn some important techniques for soloing. We're going to learn how to bend, where to bend to. We're going to learn about hammering onto the string. We're going to learn about pull-offs. We're going to learn about sliding. And we're going to learn about vibrato. And here we go. How to bend. When you bend the string, it's really important that you keep your wrist straight, and I like to grab the neck of the guitar kind of like a baseball bat with my thumb over the neck and my wrist straight, and that way I can position my hand so I have a little more leverage to push the string. So essentially what I like to do is use my third finger, my second finger next to it, and using both of these fingers I push the string up, like that. Do it on this string. In the beginning it's going to hurt quite a bit when you start bending, but you'll get calluses, and then it won't hurt anymore. Now some people bend with their pinky, and when you bend with your pinky it's the same thing. You're going to line all your fingers up, and these fingers are just going to be here for support. The only note that's really sounding is this one. You use all your fingers to push the string higher. Vibrato. There's a lot of different ways to do vibrato. We're going to start with our index finger. You play the note, and then you just shake your finger back and forth, kind of like that. And that's a longer vibrato, more time in between the bends. A faster vibrato would sound more like this. So slow vibrato, fast vibrato. Doing vibrato with your third finger is another great way to start experimenting, because you have the support of these fingers. So you just slightly shake the string up and down, not bringing it too far up or too far down. Trying to keep it at the same place, but just slightly shaking it. Another great way of employing vibrato is when you get to the top of a bend. When you get to the top of the bend, trying some vibrato. So bending, and then trying to bend when you get to the top of where you're going at the bend. And those are some ways to employ bending and vibrato. Now we're going to discuss when you're bending, where you're going to. Bending. When you're bending the string, you're moving up to another note. So when you alter the pitch of the string and you push it up like this, you're moving it to a higher note. So it's really important that you know where you're bending it to. That was a whole note bend. So if we were playing in the pentatonic position, A minor pentatonic, and this was our shape, 8-5, 8-5, 7-5, and we wanted to bend at the 8th fret, we would need to bend the note so it went to the pitch of the 10th fret. So this is the sound we would be after when we got to the top of the bend. So I'm going to bend up to that note. And I'm going to release it. So when you bend, you're moving up to that note. So it's important to know when you're playing the scale what the next note is on that given string that you're bending. So on the high E string, if we're playing an A minor pentatonic scale, you would want to bend up a whole step, which is 2 frets. That would be the goal. We come down, play this note, and then give it a little vibrato on the 5th fret. Vibrato is when you shake the string And when you're playing on the high E string, it's important that you push the string up a little so it doesn't slide off the fretboard like that. So we're going to do this for each string. So whole note bend, release, 5th fret, vibrato. And we're going to do the same thing on the B string. We added some vibrato when we release. Then we're going to go to the G string, and we're going to bend from the 7th fret to the 9th fret. So do that one more time. So whole step bend at the 8th fret, release, 5th fret vibrato, 8th fret whole step bend, B string, 5th fret vibrato, G string 7th fret whole step bend, 2 frets. So it's always good to test to make sure you're hitting the right note. 2 frets for this particular position. So bending 101, you need to know where you're bending to, the next note on that string for the scale, and then you target it and you bend up to it. The other thing that's great to use when you first start playing lead guitar is hammer-ons. Hammer-on is when you play the note and then you hammer your finger down onto the next note in the sequence. So I'm just plucking the note one time and then hammering down this finger. So I pluck the note once and then hammer my finger down. That's hammer-ons. Now pull-offs would be the opposite. I would keep both of my fingers down and I would pull off my pinky and I would have my first finger in place on the 5th fret. Same thing on the next string. So you pluck the note once and you pull it off. So a good exercise would be to do hammer-ons and pull-offs. So hammer all the way down and then pull off all the way back. So hammering on is great when you start playing, because if you're not able to pick a lot of notes really quickly, it's very efficient use of your ability to play from note to note without having to pick every note. So you can get a lot more notes and pick less. For example, I'll go a little slower. Alright, so another great tool when you start playing lead guitar is sliding. So we know with the pentatonic scale we've been exploring 5, set 5, 7, 5, 8, 5, 8. So instead of maybe pulling off or hammering, sliding back and forth. Now you also have hammer-ons and pull-offs. That's when you hammer and then you pull the note off. You pluck it only one time, you hammer and then you pull off like that. Sounds like that. Recommend starting at the high E string, and you could use your 3rd finger to hammer and pull off, or your pinky. So far we've explored hammer-ons, pull-offs, hammer-ons and pull-offs together, a hammer pull-off. The next thing we're going to talk about is sliding. When you slide up to a note, you pluck it one time and you slide. Very expressive. So if I was to say I was to play a lick that was on the G string. I was to slide to that next note and leave some vibrato, works really well, or slide and come back. So sliding is a great tool as well. Sliding works really well around here.